Ever wondered how to cut a 6 or 8 pieces blouse without a pattern? Well, I'm here to show you how. Welcome guys to my channel. Today is a very interesting tutorial. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Okay, so the bust we are working with today is bust 42 waist 36, and if you want to cut a pieces blouse without pattern, you will need to do some calculations. So our nipple to nipple for bust 42 is 4.5, but now we are also going to add whatever that you want to be the flay, whatever inches you want to flay out, you're going to add it to the measurement. So this is the 4.5 plus the 3 inches that I want to use for my flay. That's 7.5. You can see it right there. And the thin line, the small line, is my 1 inch for my zipper. Note, my 1 inch for my zipper, and then another 3 inches. That is 8 inches plus 8.5 inches plus 3 inches, making it 11.5 in total. So we are folding our fabric with 11.5 inches. Do you understand that? Now we go for our length, and our length is 25 plus 1 inch seam allowance, which is 26. So I'm just going to be marking out my under bust. My under bust is 15 and my half length is 17.5. So I'm just drafting it, I'm just marking it out so you can see. Now we are going for our bustier measurements. So the nipple point of 15 inches under bust is 11 inches. So I'm just writing out this zipper part or area so you can understand. This is my 4.5 inches, and I'm removing 1.2 actually from my under bust for my under bust tightening, and I'm going to be removing 1 inch on my upper bust area. Now this totally depends on how you do your bustier. I'm sure we all know how to do bustier, but if you don't know how to draft your bustier measurements, there will be a video on that later. Okay, so I'm just marking out my lines to connect everything so that it will have that curve that shows that it's actually a bustier. Okay, so we are seeing that coming out already. Now for the full length, we'll come up by 1 inch on the side which has the 3 inches where the flay is going to sit, and on the other side also we are coming up by 1 inch. So we are just going to connect the flay like so. This dotted line is to show that you are sewing from the under bust tightening, which is going to give the flay a fuller look, more than what the 3 is already giving. Also on the zip area, sewing from the zip curve down, which is also going to give it more than that 3 inches that we measured. All right, for the 2 side bustier, I'm also going to mark out my 3 inches, and for the side we are going to be marking 10 inches. Reason because the bust is bust 42, and anything we do within that 10 inches is going to give us what we need. So this is just my 10 inches I'm marking out, plus my 3 inches on the other side and my 3 inches on this right side. In total we have 16 inches. 10 plus 3 inches on one side and the 3 inches on the other side. Remember, these 3 inches is for the flay. Okay, so I just brought my center pattern to make it straight, to make everything straight and equal. So I'm just going to draft it, I'm just going to cut it out following my bustier cuts. Okay, and then I will flay out from my half length, I'm going to flay out my 3 inches on the side, which is what I'm just doing, and cutting it out. Remember, it's not a must that you will do 3 inches. Yours can be 4, 5, depending on how full you want the flay to look, how bouncy you want it to look. But you also note that your fabric matters, the quantity of your fabric matters a lot. Okay, now we move over to the back. The back, we are doing the same thing, 3 inches on the side. Then your dart is 4.5 inch, though I'm supposed to use 5 inches in the in this tutorial, but I used 4.5. That ½ inch extra that I'm supposed to add is for joining the back together. You're going to see what I'm talking about. So I'm just connecting the lines. I've marked out my 3 inches on one side plus my 4.5, that is 7.5, plus my 3 inches on the other side. Just follow it serially and you are going to understand. So in total, the back I folded with 10.5. So I'm just marking out my half length and where my dart is starting from, which is 11 inches. This is my ½ inch for the darts, for the dart tightening, and this is the 1 inch I removed, just like what I did for the front. So I'm going to connect from my 11 inches. I'm connecting my ruler from my 11 inches down to my half length and down to my 1 inch. You're going to see it right now. So this is from my 11 inches to my half length and down to my full flay. Okay, so I will just connect smoothly so that the curve is going to come out well. I don't want any sharp edge on my material. You know that sewing has a lot of mathematics in it. It requires a lot of brain work. So just calm down, pause the video, calculate all what I've said very well, and you will understand perfectly what I am saying. Trust me, it is a very simple and seamless process if you know how to draft a bustier very well. Okay, so I'm just connecting my curve, just basically the same thing I did on the front. That's the same thing I'm doing at the back, but the difference now is that the back doesn't have any bust here. The back doesn't have any curve. I mean, there's no bust at the back. So this is me cutting out my pattern. You can see we didn't use any pattern to make this. We've been cutting directly on the fabric. Okay, so this is for the side. Just the same thing I did on the front part is what I am still doing here. I'm just marking out my 3 inches because I'm adding 3 inches all around the fabric, all around the clothes for my flay. Like I said, you can make yours 4, you can make yours 5. If you are making yours 5, for example, 5 and your nipple to nipple is 4.5, that is 9.5 plus another 5 for the other side, because the flame must be on the both sides. Do you get that? Okay, so now I'm just doing the same thing, repeating the whole process, marking out my lines, and I'm just trying to make sure that everything is correct. Okay, so this is for my side back, the 2 side back. You can see my dart line, my ½ inch that went into the half length. You can already see it coming out. So this is just me trimming out. Remember to notch your center back, notch your darts. Make sure you notch so you don't forget where you are supposed to sew. So this is my 8 pieces blouse. I'm just drafting out the measurements, my neckline, my shoulder line, armhole. You can already see that I didn't trim out much from the waist, and I didn't even trim out anything from the bust, because this measurement is already giving me, that 10 inches we added is already giving me what I need for her measurements, plus my 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So this is me trimming out every excess that I have on the length area. Even on the joining, you can see that I have excess fabric on the length. So that's what I'm just trimming off. But try to avoid this at all costs. Try to align the 2 pattern together so that you don't have this. I was unable to cover the final drafting of the front part of my beautiful blouse, but you can already see everything is giving what it should give. There's 4 pieces at the front, that is 8 pieces. Thank you for watching.